Hello and welcome back to the channel, Kelly Legends Media. Before I begin, I want to say thank you to all the subscribers. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for liking and hyping the videos. It's really putting this channel on a different track, and I really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel and you watch the videos from time to time, if you can subscribe to the channel, it'd be highly appreciated. We're trying to hit a 10,000 subscriber goal by the end of the year. We're running out of time, and we're pretty close, but we're looking a little short. Anyways, if you watch the videos or if you heard about my channel from other content creators, if you're curious, hit that subscribe button down below. Set that notification bell on all. You'll be notified whenever a new video drops or we go live. And then you can make a better decision after you see a couple of videos and see whether you like the content. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about something that's probably not a very popular subject, but some of you might find it interesting, okay? And that's being exposed, okay? I'm not talking about the kind of expose that's going on YouTube, like there's a channel called I think Exposed TV, if I'm not mistaken. But and then you see a lot of videos. So and so's has been exposed, and it's not that kind of being exposed that I want to talk about. This is the type of being exposed that I put my own self through. What I exposed myself to. Thinking that it was normal, thinking that it was, that it was the way to grow up and act, and basically learning from the streets. Okay, I'll give you an example. Excuse me. So, sorry about that. So, the Golden Gate Theater. I don't know if some of you remember where it's at on Whittier Boulevard in Atlantic. It's now a CVS pharmacy. Nevertheless, it's a historical site. It cannot ever be knocked down or destroyed. The changes that they've made to it is all that they can do. So the way it's standing today is the way that it's going to be in the future. But it was once a very beautiful show, right? I had a balcony up on top, so you could sit up on the balcony and look down on the screen. Very nice interior. Good place to go with a girl and kick it. It was a badass show, and the whole experience was good, man. From the box office in the front where you bought your tickets, walking through the center, where there was different shops, clothing store, Sir George's clothing store. A shoe shop. Back in the days, they used to have shoe shops where you could take your shoes and they'd shine them and put taps on the bottom, and some old school stuff that ain't happening anymore. Everybody's wearing tennies these days. Back then, a lot of people wore shoes. Anyways, I went to that show to go watch a movie with a girl and a friend of mine who became my homeboy, and another girl. We were ditching school. Okay, and we're in there, and my friend goes to the bathroom and comes back, and I guess they try to jump him in the bathroom. So there we go. We go out, and we get in a fight with these guys in the front where they sell the popcorn and stuff, and they run out of the theater, and we run out after them. They were too fast. There's no way I was going to catch them, and I had a screwdriver in my pocket. So I took the screwdriver out, and I used to mess around all the time, and I was out throwing. I'd stick the screwdriver on different things, just throwing it, practicing, not for no special occasion or reasons or training or anything. I like doing that. Even today, I like doing that with knives and different things, right? Anyway, so we're chasing this kid, right? Two of them. They're opening the space between us. I'm getting tired. I'm getting winded. So I pull the screwdriver out and I throw it, right? And that damn screwdriver hits and gets him right in the center of his back, okay? and he's running, trying to reach it this way through this side, and he's trying to pull it out of his back while he's running. He can't. It's in a place where he can't reach, even if he was standing still. He can't put his arms that way and pull it out, right? And I was like, got him. And then I thought about it, and I'm like, shit, man, this guy's got this screwdriver with my fingerprints on it. What if he ends up dying? So now there I go chasing him again. And I never caught him, but I got close enough to grab the screwdriver, and he ran, and I got the screwdriver back, and we took off, right? My point is, okay, I exposed myself to that lifestyle, and it became normal for me. We go to the boulevard, we'd go on the boulevard, not to fight. We go on the boulevard, to before we had cars, just to go watch the cars and stuff. And when we did have cars, to go cruising. And usually somebody would start the fight. They would call out their neighborhoods, get disrespectful. And Whittier Boulevard actually went right through our neighborhood, right through the center of our neighborhood. So that was, happening in my neighborhood, the cruising. So we took it twice as disrespectful. And even that way of thinking, okay, and the situations that it put me in, where we'd get off and, people got hit with bumper jacks, got left thrown on Whittier Boulevard, on the side streets. A lot of bad things happened. But I exposed myself to this, and to me it was normal. It was survival. It was the way that it was what we did, to go out and have a good time. Sometimes things would happen and you'd have to react, right? And we'd always act very violent. Now, later, when drugs came into the picture, for most people, sticking a syringe in your own arm, okay, drawing up blood into the syringe and then putting it back inside you with some other chemicals that you mixed in a spoon, right, that came out of a balloon that has been who knows where, okay, became normal. Everybody's doing it. Hey, it feels good. Expose myself. And to me, that was no, but to a normal person, that's sick. That's some sick activity. You know what I mean? For a person to do that, it's dirty. You're putting some crap into your bloodstream. But you don't realize it because at some point in our lives, we were exposed to that. And it became normal. It became okay to do. You know what I'm saying? And, people think that because you're from a neighborhood and, you have a reputation of being one of the good fighters in the neighborhood, and you're known in the street and by different neighborhoods for handling your business and getting down and being this type of violent person that you really don't want to mess with, is like a badge of honor, something to walk around with and puff your chest out about, But to a normal person, it's crazy. Like, that's why I know a lot of people watch these prison genres videos that are on the prison genre, is to hear these stories and stuff, because they could only picture it in their mind. They would never have gone through that or put themselves through that, and probably their kids aren't doing it either. And if they are, the parents are learning what they may be exposing themselves to. And, look, you don't need to be from a gang to be courageous, to be brave, to be chingon, to be a good fighter, to be a killer. Look at all the people that have gone through the Marines, to the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, flying these big old jets, man, fighting, shooting, machine guns at each other in the sky. Hey, you get hit up there, you're going to be blown to pieces. You're going to land somewhere in some other country, maybe get captured. Um, if you're on the ground and you're fighting and you're shooting back and forth, someone's trying to kill you. They're not just shooting at you. They're not playing army. They're trying to take your life. And those people come back from prison being exposed. I mean, from the service being exposed, but they were exposed doing something honorable. They're trying to protect the country's rights and our freedom. Okay, it's different. Is it any less than the violence in the street? Hell no. It's sometimes even more deadly. So there's other ways, to spend your energy and become the person you want to be known as being as you're growing up. And I think a lot of people waste their lives because they see the older homies coming out of prison. They see them rolling up in their cars and stuff. Hey, look, you could like the style, you could like the get down, you could like all that. You could like the way the shirts look, all with the military creases, and shoes, nice shoes, badass car. Yeah, you could like all that. Go cruising, have a good time with your wife and your kids. Uh, Go meet at the park with all your friends with their cars and barbecue and all that. You don't need to flip it and go after the other side of the coin where you're just going for the gangbang, seeing if you could find an enemy who's really probably not even your enemy. You probably don't even know why you're fighting with somebody if it's some type of gang issue. A lot of people get in a gang, they get shot 2 weeks later. They never did anything to any other neighborhood. They don't even know what the fellow was about. They're in the hospital, shot in the face and stuff. And the example that I just gave you is an actual example of someone that came down from San Diego, got in our neighborhood, and a week or two later, he was in the hospital. He got shot in the face. And he got right in the middle of a beefs that we've been fighting for decades, but had nothing to do with it. Anyways, so I think a lot of the consequences in our lives are for us exposing ourselves to things that make us think different, and make us believe that certain things are okay when they're not, man. When they're crazy, you know what I mean? Outrageously crazy. You see the people in the street, man, bent over on these drugs. It didn't start that way. They exposed themselves at some point, maybe taking a hit, or chipping, and look where it ended them, homeless in the street, looking like zombies. Anyways, if you're young and you've seen this, man, watch what you expose yourself to. Expose yourself to the finer things in life. Expose yourself to things that are going to edify you, that are going to bring you up, that are going to build you up. If you're not a big dude, if you don't got skill, hey, man, go to a boxing gym, work out, and hit the bag and get somebody there to help you to learn how to throw a good solid punch and different combinations and stuff. Improve in that area, but you don't have to go and hang around with a bunch of people that are running around in the streets trying to take somebody's life to do those things. There's ways that you can positively exert that energy. I was a gang member for several decades, okay? And I'm not just saying all of this stuff because it sounds good. No, this is the truth, because in the end, if you continue down that road of the streets and the gangs and the violence and everything, you're going to end up in prison one day, okay? And that'll take you down a whole other trip. It just multiplies all of the things I just talked about. It just multiplies it to a higher level. And some people think they want that, but that's a lifetime commitment. That's something that you're going to be pushing for a long time, especially now the way they're giving out the time 25 years is a lifetime, man. You know, if you're 20 years and got to go 25 years to life, man, you're going to get out an old dude already, man. You're going to be like, what, 45, 50 years old? It's a waste of a life, you know? And, yeah, people, do what you can to stay free, man, and dodge any nonsense. I hear people on YouTube calling out each other, okay, let's run a fade and let's do this and that. That I don't know. To me, it's ridiculous to me. Seriously, man. Over some YouTube pedo or something. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna go out there because I'm not gonna fight, man. I'm gonna try to take somebody's head off if somebody threatens me, and probably end up back in prison, somewhere where I don't want to go. So it's gonna be worth it. Besides the fact that, you know, if I'm gonna put myself in harm's way, I'm gonna make it worthwhile. And all of this nonsense that's going on YouTube, man. I hope it's what they say it is, just for entertainment, man, because it sounds stupid to me. It's just ridiculous. You might not even know that guy that you want to run a fade with. You never met him. All you did was hear about him on YouTube and seen him. If that's the case, stop watching them fools, man. Cut them loose. But all of that wanting to take it to the mat, that's dumb, man. Especially for an older dude, man. Come on, let's set a better example. You know what I'm saying? There's ways to get your point across without doing all that. And believe me, man, it's not because I'm scared or anything. Has anything to do with being a coward. Because those are two things that you can't put on me. Something happened to me in my life where I don't have the fear no more. That fear, it's just not there no more. Why, I don't know, but it's not. Something broke, and I just don't get scared like that. So, and that's a messed up thing to say. I tell you what scares me when I hear a car backfire or firework or gunshots, and I'm not expecting it. That shit'll make me jump back and look around like, what the I got a little bit of shell shock, I guess, or whatever they call it. But as far as walking around scared to fight or scared to do things like that, it's not a matter of fear, man. But we got to use some wisdom, man. Use your head, people. Like, yeah, watch what you expose yourself to, and watch what you do. Because on top of you exposing yourself to things that aren't good for your health or good for your life, people will expose you, man. If you got some skeletons in your closet, you mess around with women, and doing that thing to them, or to kids, or you go around telling on people for your own. You look, man, if you go do something and you're with somebody and you go do something with them, why are you going to tell them then so you could get away? That's cowardice. That's, hey, take your medicine, take your medicine just like he has to. Both of you guys take your medicine and go do your time, all that snitching or telling, so you could cut out. Yeah, that is weak, I wouldn't recommend it, but hey, to each his own, Anyways, people, stay safe, people. Stay free, stay out from behind them walls, from behind them bars. From the streets, things only get worse, things only get harder, and life goes by really, really fast, man. It seems like just yesterday, I was going to high school and living, the way I was living. And already, I hope, I would be happy if I could get me another 10 years. That'd be great, And if you think about it, 10 years ain't a long time, life, you could say, is pretty close to being over. You know what I mean? We're only given a certain amount of time to do our thing here on earth. Make it worthwhile, people. Stay free. Enjoy this thing we call freedom and this life, whether it's hard or it's not, whether it's, whatever it is, man, enjoy it. It could be worse. You could be locked up for the rest of your life in somewhere where bad things happen to people. Anyways, people, thanks for watching, and hope to see you on the next video. Gracias.